The question of data protection remained partly open in the agreement. As of summer, the transmission of personal data is only possible under special conditions. It was actually 5 to 12 when the trade and cooperative agreement between the EU and the UK was finalized on December 24th. It has been provisionally applicable since the beginning of the year, but some important questions remain open. A construction site concerns the transmission of personal data. It was only in 2018 that the EU created a uniform high data protection standard with the EU General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR. Data transfers within the EU are largely possible without any problems in compliance with the provisions of the GDPR. The Trade and Cooperation Agreement between the EU and the UK provides for a transitional arrangement of 4 months with a one-time extension of 2 months for the transmission of data. During this time, personal data can be transferred between the EU and the UK as before. After the end of this period, Great Britain is then really considered a third country from a data protection perspective. According to this, the transmission of personal data is only permitted under the special requirements of Article 44 of the GDPR. However, the end of the free exchange of data can also occur if the United Kingdom issues new binding corporate rules according to Article 46 GDPR on new standard data protection clauses. A pure adjustment of the existing provisions to facilitate the final exit is not included. In practice, everything depends on a valid transmission mechanism. If after the end of the transition period personal data continues to be processed in the UK or transferred to a cooperation partner, for example by using a cloud service, this is permitted as long as the transfer mechanism that complies with the provisions of the GDPR and that is really set for it. The person responsible for data processing is also liable for compliance with the applicable transmission mechanisms and for ensuring that the person affected by the data processing is informed in advance about the data transmission. Practically relevant, especially with regard to cloud service providers, are however primarily the service of the major US providers such as Google or Amazon located in Ireland. These are not affected by Brexit and can therefore still be used by concluding an order processing agreement. The easiest way to arrive at a valid transfer mechanism is an adequacy decision by the European Commission, as it currently exists for 13 countries. It is even considered very likely that an adequacy decision will be issued within this short period, as all English companies have been bound by the GDPR for the past few years and the British data protection level should currently correspond to that of the EU. However, such adequacy decisions are not set in stone, but are subject to review by the European Court of Justice. It only declared the EU-US Privacy Shield invalid in the previous year, due to the lack of a sufficient guarantee for a level of data protection corresponding to the European standard. At the moment, the situation for many companies is still unsatisfactory, as no uniform successor or final solution has yet been found for the EU-US agreement, and a different transmission mechanism has been set in accordance with Article 44 GDPR for the transmission of personal data to the USA, and that must happen. This also threatens with regard to the United Kingdom, should the United Kingdom make use of the possibility of enacting laws that deviate from EU directives and lower the level of data protection in the future to such an extent that it is no longer compatible with EU standards. If the EU Commission does not issue an adequacy decision, companies must use another GDPR-compliant data transfer mechanism. Particular attention should be paid to binding corporate rules or suitable guarantees. Implementing such transmission mechanisms in companies is both time-consuming and costly and should therefore be planned and implemented with sufficient lead time. How the coming weeks and months will develop remains open in view of the difficult negotiations so far. Any company is advised to observe current events and also be prepared for a worst case scenario. In any case, they should check now which personal data they are transferring to Great Britain and Northern Ireland and evaluate whether transferring any anonymously, for example, is sufficient. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.